So Bitcoin is sitting close to about that 88K. We have been moving up the last couple of days. We'll see if we can continue to move on up. But we're going to take a look at the charts along with MSTY and MSTR and just see what those hurdles could be. Hello my friends, this is Legend. So Bitcoin has been moving up the last few days. As you can see right here, we've got a little bit of green candles. We did hit that low of about 80.7K, and that was on the 21st. Today being the 24th, it has been moving up. But keep in mind, we did have this line here drawn at about 88.8K. And I drew that from the tops over here. And this was back in March of 2025. We had a bit of a resistance right here, and it looks like here recently we are seeing a little bit of a resistance here as well. I'm hoping to be able to break past that 88.8K so that we can move this on back up. And if we can get above that 88.8, I think the next hurdle will be that roughly getting to that 93K. And then of course the 98. So if we can continue to work our way back on up, break through that 93, then we can head back to that 98. And then we're going to have the big hurdle again of trying to get past that 100K, because that is a psychological level. And I believe if we can break past that 100K, I think it's going to take back off. We're going to have a lot of investors jumping back in if it can get back up above that 100K, as I think you would see a lot of FOMO buyers coming in, trying to see if it can get back up to that 110 and on up, right? But currently we are down. It has been falling, but we are moving back up slightly. Now, as I said, we had that support down here at about 77.7, and that was roughly the bottom of this dip right here. That was back in March. Now below that, if we do break below that, then we're looking at coming down to the low 70s right here, and that's roughly about 70K. As you can see, that was a pretty strong resistance that Bitcoin was stuck at for a while here. It could not seem to break and stay past that 70K. And this, of course, was around February of 2024 all the way to November of 2024. Okay, so it had that 70K resistance line for quite a while. And then once it did break it, I mean, look what happened. It broke that 71 and it was off to the races, right? It just kept on going. And at that point, it really didn't stop until it hit the 100K. So wouldn't that be nice, right? Now, I'm not expecting Bitcoin here to take off and shoot right back up to that 100K, right? I'm not looking for it to jump up there. And actually, I don't want it to get up there that quickly. I don't mind it doing these little stair steps like this, because if it can continue to do these little stair steps and just keep stair stepping right on up and keep breaking those resistance lines, maybe hang out a little bit and then break through it and just keep stair stepping up, because if it can, then our MSTY will be able to keep up with that, as MSTR will hopefully be doing the same thing, right? Stair stepping up. Now, of course, MSTR is buying Bitcoin, so they're always increasing the share count because they're wanting to have as much Bitcoin as possible. So they do take a bit of a hit on the price when they're purchasing, as that does decrease the dollar amount because they're increasing their shares. Now, that may not be the only reason why the price may be coming down some, but you are increasing your supply, so therefore the price will drop because the overall dollar value roughly has to be the same. But you can see even on MSTR, we have that 181.4 right here, And that is a bit of a resistance there as well. And it somewhat matches on Bitcoin the 88.8, right? You can see that is a resistance right there on Bitcoin. And we are at a bit of resistance right now at the 181. If Bitcoin can break that 88.8, then it's very likely that Mr. will also break the 181 and will start moving on back up and hopefully get back up to start testing this 235. And if Mr. of course can move on up, then we're going to see MSTY starting to move back up as well. Now we did have a little bit of an update today. As you can see on MSTY, we went up 5.4% today. Very nice. Along with Mr. went up 5.01. So believe it or not, MSTY actually went up more in percentage than Mr. But we still need Bitcoin to continue on moving up. Because if Bitcoin is going to stall out at this 88.8 and start moving back down, then we could be in for a bit of a ride on down. And that is taking it down to that 77 and eventually down to that 70K area. As I said, that was a previous resistance, and that was a very strong resistance, and therefore could be a very strong support. Now, I don't necessarily want it down that low, but if we get stalled out at that 88.8, we could be moving on back down to closer to that high 70s. But I'm hoping for the opposite, right? I'm hoping for it to break that 88.8, move back on up and start getting into this area, and then work to break that 93. And while we're here, let's just take a look at HOOY. We have a bit of a support where we were at, right? You can see that we were bouncing around in this area right here. So you can say about right here is a good support line. You can see we were bouncing off of it, bouncing off of it, bounce off of it, bounce off of it, and then took off, right? And where are we at now? Well, we have come back down to there at that roughly $48 range, and we bounced off of it. And we had a nice bounce today because yesterday it actually closed at 49.18, and today it opened at 50.77 and closed at 52.03. So a very nice move up on HOOY. And this is one of my newer positions that I do have, but I am treating it the same way as I do all of my YMAX and other high yield ETF funds. And what I mean by that is I use my stock tracker sheet and I simply just look at the summary page right here and I can see which ones I need to focus on. I have my real price per share in red and in green. If it's red, that means that if I do buy more shares, I can lower my real price per share. And if it's green, if I do buy, I will end up raising that real price per share. And I don't want to do that. So I will only focus on the ones in red, which is CONY, ULTY, SMCY, and the last one is HOOY. Those are the only ones that I have that are actually red at the moment. And in HOOY, my real price per share being 54.28 and the current market price being 52.03, I'm not too bad off on that. But at least this sheet does give me an idea of which ones to focus on, as I would not want to buy, say, more PLTY because that's going to raise my real price per share and actually extend out how many more distributions I need before I get it paid off. And that's working in the wrong direction for my method. I want to purchase more shares, but I only want to do it if it's going to benefit me on my average. I do not want to buy them just to buy, and that's why I don't use DRIP, because DRIP, you have no control over that buy price, and it will buy them on a certain day, certain time, and at whatever price that is at that time. That is what you'll be purchasing your shares at with that distribution money. But the way I would do it is I would not buy unless it's under my real price per share so that it will lower it and actually work for me. And by buying it, it will also speed up that time for that paid off position, because by lowering that real price per share, it just means that it will take even less distributions to get it paid off. Now this sheet here, along with the individual stock tracking sheets, and this is the part you would actually fill out, right? You fill out your positions, your buy, your sell, and the number of shares, along with your distributions here, and it will do all the calculations for you. It will give you the average distribution that it is paying out over the last 4 distributions, and the estimated time it would take to get it paid off. And right here you can see this is that real price per share. It's just that instead of looking at each individual sheet that you would fill out for each ticker symbol, you don't have to look at each one separately. You can simply look at the summary page, and it gives you the broad overview of each single ETF that you have as this populates as you add to or remove those positions. It gives you your total share count, the current market price, the value of your stock, the amount of distributions you've earned, and so forth. And of course, at the bottom, it does give you how long you have until you could actually get it paid off. Some of these are a bit longer than others, of course, and that's mostly because if it's paying out a very small distribution, and if my real price per share is high, then it will take longer. But at least I can see how long it's going to take, and then I can make my decision on that of what I want to do. Because for this instance right here, I can see I need 146 more payments at that average distribution for WDTE to get it paid off. But if I were to sell them at the current price, I can go ahead and close this entire position out, and I will earn $2,088.48. So at any time, I know if I need that money and I just need out of it, or I don't like the way it's headed, I can sell, I can get out, and I will make some money. And that's what this sheet can help you to determine. Versus like on HOOY, if I were to sell, I'm actually going to lose $107. So I don't necessarily want to do that at the point, right? I would much rather wait, give it some time, and eventually the number of distributions that I'm going to receive, along with hopefully some price changing if it was to move up, then if I wanted to sell out, once this turns green, then I will be in profit. But as you know me, I'm not in these to really sell out of them. I'm in it to hold it for the long term until they get paid off, just like in MSTY, where MSTY is now paid off. And as you can see, I am up in the play. And if I were to sell out of MSTY at the current position, I would make $3,600 in MSTY. So you can't tell me that you can't make money with these high yield ETFs, because right here proves it. This proves that I can indeed make money. I can sell my MSTY right now and make $3,600. I can sell my NVDY right now and make $127. I can sell PLTY right now and make $1,600. I can sell AMDY right now and make $866. Yes, there are a couple here that are red, but I am still working on those and working to bring down my real price per share. And as I do that, and as the market starts trading sideways to up, then eventually I can get ahead of it, and I could at that point then sell it once it becomes green if I so choose. But I'm probably not going to do that, because that just means that I'm that much closer at getting it paid off. So if you'd like a copy of this sheet so that you can track your own positions, then you can get a copy of that in my Discord. And the link to my Discord is in the pinned comments, along with in the description. I appreciate each and every person who has joined my Discord and also given me a lot of feedback on other ideas to add to this sheet. So as time goes, I will be updating this sheet again. And for my Discord members, they will have access to that sheet no matter how many times I do a revision. They'll be able to access that at any time they want, along with any other spreadsheets I am coming out with, as I am working on a few others currently. So I think I'm gonna wrap it up right there. If you don't mind, hit that subscribe button, smash the like button, it'd be much appreciated. And as always, I am not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. Please do your own due diligence before you get into any stock plays. And until next time, Legend out.